Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Western Adventures. I head next to my hometown. Dodge City, Kansas was not my hometown. It's about 300 miles away. And Gunsmoke. William Conrad starring as Marshal Matt Dillon in the middle of a stagecoach holdup. This episode originally broadcast January 2nd, 1954.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
The trip from Hayes City to Dodge was long enough horseback, but by stagecoach, it seemed endless. There were only 2 passengers besides me, and after the first hour on the road, we stopped talking. Just sit there in silence, waiting for the ride to be over. I'd been up late the last few nights, so I braced myself into one corner of the coach and fell asleep. I vaguely remember the stage pulling to a stop and somebody shouting. But I came fully awake when the door was jerked open and a man behind a bandana stuck a shotgun in my face.
Get out of the coach. Hands in front of you. Be a pleasure to blast you open. All right. Take his gun, Charlie.
Yeah.
Now, stand over there with the driver. You 2 next. Now get on out and don't try nothing.
How come you didn't start shooting when they stopped me, Marshal?
Well, I was sound asleep, Hank.
Well, I'm sure glad of that. If we put up a fight, that fellow with the shotgun would have blowed me clean off the seat.
Yeah. How many of them are there? Just these 2?
That's all I've seen.
There could be somebody with a rifle hiding in that clump of elder over there.
Could be.
That'll learn him, Charlie.
Hey, look. He killed him, Marshal.
Yeah, the man was a fool to try that.
Go get the box down, Charlie. Take this one to help you.
Oh, come on, you.
I'll keep an eye on these 2 here. So, you're a marshal, huh?
I am.
Well, that greenhorn got himself killed. He shouldn't have tried to shoot Charlie.
No, he shouldn't. Not with a little derringer.
Charlie got hit. Right in the arm.
Yeah, I saw it.
I just don't want nobody chasing us for murder.
Under the circumstances, it was murder.
It was, huh? Well, then the only thing to do is shoot the whole bunch of you and have done with it.
No, you can't do that. Mister, I got a wife and 2 kids in Dodge.
What I hear, Dodge ain't a very good place to raise a family anyway.
Look, you're in enough trouble already. And besides, you didn't kill that man. Your partner did.
Yeah, that's right. It's Charlie they'll be after. How much money is there in that box, driver?
I don't know. They never tell me.
Well, we'll find out. He's got it open now. Load it in them saddlebags, Charlie.
I got an idea you're new at this game.
Look, if a man was holding a shotgun on me and I was unarmed, I wouldn't have no ideas about nothing, Marshal.
You always carry a shotgun, mister?
Why?
We might meet sometime when you don't have one.
You're gonna make me shoot you yet?
Hey, look, your partner's ready to go.
Okay. Don't you make a move till we're out of sight. We'll ride back and kill every one of you. You understand?
I guess there's nothing we can do but stand here.
That's all, Hank. For right now, anyway.
Ow!
What'd you do, Kitty? Burn your mouth again?
Oh, darn it, yes. What do you mean again?
Well, it seems like you always do if the coffee's hot enough.
Thanks for the sympathy.
It's as much as you gave me about the stage hold-up the other day.
All I said was I'm glad you were asleep. You're a lot safer that way.
Well, being safe isn't exactly my main goal, Kitty.
Yeah, I know. How much money was there, Matt?
$2,000. You'd think they'd have paid a man to ride shotgun.
Have you any idea who did it?
No, they were both masked.
I hear Wells Fargo put up a reward for him.
Yeah, there's $1,000 for the one who killed the passenger, dead or alive.
They must want him real bad.
That's not good for business. People getting murdered.
What about the other one?
$300 for his capture. And if you recover the stolen money, Kitty, well, they'll give you half of it.
If I found that money, they'd give me all of it.
You'll end up in jail yet.
Well, the Texas Trail isn't far from being a jail. For me, anyway. I gotta get back there pretty soon, Matt.
Sure.
Hey, you. Waiter. Come here and take this money or I'll throw it at you.
Another gentleman in town.
Kitty, I don't want to turn around. What does he look like?
Well, I think it's the one with the black beard
You
over there.
heard me, waiter. Get over here before I bust your neck.
Yeah, that's the one, all right.
Is there anybody with him?
No, he's alone. And he's leaving now.
Oh, good. No, don't stare at him. I don't want him to see me.
Well, he's not even looking this way. He's going out the door, Matt.
All right, come on. I want to follow him.
Okay.
Is that him ahead of us there?
The big man, yeah. Who is he, Matt?
I'm not sure. But he sounds an awful lot like somebody I want.
You gonna arrest him?
No, not till I'm sure. Maybe not even then.
Look, he's going up the docks.
Yeah, so he is. Kitty, I'll leave you here.
Okay. Thanks for the supper, Matt.
Sure, anytime.
Tomorrow?
Well, I might be real busy tomorrow.
I figured that. So long, Matt.
Goodbye, Kitty.
Why, man, that's a serious thing. It sounds like his arm is infected to me. How'd he do it?
Well, he just tore it on some wire.
Well, why didn't you bring him into town? It might be gangrene.
Is that bad?
Bad. Why, he could lose the arm, or even die. Where is he, anyway?
Out on the prairie, in camp. Ain't there some medicine or something I could take back with me, Doc?
Oh, hello, Matt.
Good evening, Doc. Go right ahead. I just came up for a smoke.
Oh, sure. Sit down, Matt.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, look, mister. There isn't a medicine in the world.
Never mind.
But
Doc.
I'm telling you...
Forget it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Everything's okay.
Yes. You better not wait too long. I'm warning you.
I won't. We'll take care of everything tomorrow. So long.
That man's crazy, that's what.
No, he's not crazy, Doc.
No, you should have heard him.
I did.
What do you mean you did?
I was outside the door, Doc. Well, he's going under the Olafraganza. I guess he isn't too worried.
What's this all about, Mac?
Doc, I'll explain it to you later. Right now, I gotta find Chester.
Oh, Chester, yes, he's down in the office. I just left him.
Oh, good. I sure hope he's had a lot of sleep lately.
What's that?
He's gonna be pretty busy tonight. I'll see you later, Doc. Well, did you follow him all night, Chester?
Oh, Mr. Dillon, I'm about ready to drop. Everything's getting hazy.
Where is he? In the restaurant there?
Yes, sir, that's where he went. He gambled the entire night. I swear out on a high stays awake. I can't hardly keep my eyes open.
Oh, rub a rouser or tobacco juice on him, Chester. That'll help.
Oh, my goodness. He just come out the door.
Yeah, he's seen us. Stand steady.
Yes, sir.
Marshal, I got a complaint.
No, is that so?
Sure is. I had an idea this man's tracking me all night had something to do with you.
Oh, how'd you know I was following you?
Mister, you might as well have been wearing snowshoes with cowbells tied on them.
Now, that's not true. That's a doggone
Never
lie.
mind,
Now,
Chester, never mind. What is your complaint, mister?
Well, you. Can't a decent citizen ride into Dodge and do a little gambling without being haunted by your man here?
Well, that depends on how decent this citizen really is. What name do you go by, anyway?
My own. Jermo.
Jermo? Is that all there is to it?
That's all.
Yeah. Well, Jermo, I just didn't want you to leave town without my knowing about it.
Why not? I ain't done nothing.
Well, Doc told me about your partner. The one who tore his arm on some wire.
What about him?
Well, I'm curious to see if you're going to take care of him, that's all.
Well, of course I am.
He'll die if you don't hurry.
Well, I'm going after him.
When?
Well, it's no business of yours when. And anybody following me is likely to run into trouble.
From a shotgun, Jermo?
I don't use a shotgun, Marshal.
Your partner's dying, Jermo. You're wasting time. And he's dying.
He's my partner, not yours. I'll take care of him.
Sure, Jermo. But you better hurry.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first,
we remind you you're listening to Gunsmoke, January 2nd, 1954, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, and we continue following these important messages. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now more of Gunsmoke, January 2nd, 1954.
Chester had been up all night, so I sent him to bed, and I hired a Kiowa Indian I knew to keep an eye on Jermo. But even though his partner was dying of gangrene from the bullet wound he'd received at the stage holdup, Jermo didn't leave Dodge that day, or the next. He knew I'd track him to their hideout and to the stolen money if he did, and he wasn't the kind of a man who'd risk his own neck just to save his partner's life. And since I had no real evidence yet, there was no use arresting him. So, all I could do was wait.
That Indian is a wonder to behold, Mr. Dillon. He hasn't slept a wink in 2 whole days, and he don't even look tired.
No, but Jermo looked tired the last time I saw him.
Oh, he's been sleeping regular.
Yeah, I know. But all this is wearing him out just the same. And he's getting pretty spooky.
Well, I should think he would, with what he's got on his conscience.
I better ask Satank if he knows another Kiowa who could spell him for a while. I think he's got a cousin around here somewhere.
Oh, it makes my bones ache just to think about him not sleeping at all.
Marshal,
I got something to tell you.
Huh? Who are you?
My name is Verd, but I'm nobody, Marshal. Just a cowboy.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being a cowboy, Verd.
Sometimes there is. Like yesterday.
Oh, what's the trouble?
I found a dead man, Marshal, out on the prairie.
How'd he die?
Well, it looked to me like he got shot. That's why I come to you.
Did you bury him?
No. I wrapped a blanket around him, though.
Yeah. Where is he, Bert?
Not far from here. Maybe 15 miles.
Yeah. Chester.
Yes, sir?
Get our horses. We'll ride out and have a look.
Yeah, he's still there, Marshal. Nothing's been eaten on him.
He sure got himself hid out here. My, it's a wonder anybody ever found him.
Verd, you want to take the blanket off of him?
Sure. There.
Yeah. How did you know he'd been shot?
Well, his arm, it's all swole up, Marshal. And then, you see here, I noticed that bullet hole in his sleeve there.
Yeah. Well, looks like you've made yourself $1,000, Verd.
What?
Wells Fargo offered it for this man, dead or alive. He robbed a stage a few days back.
He did? Well, ain't I in luck?
And there's another 1,000 for whoever finds the money he stole.
It's probably buried around here somewheres, don't you think, Mr. Dillon?
Hey, that reminds me, I noticed something funny over there in them anthills. Like the ground being dug up.
Show us, Verd.
Yeah. Sure, Marshal. Right over here, wait. There. See it? Right there? Right by that big one?
Yeah.
Well, I declare. Huh. By golly, I think he's right, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, there's something been buried here, all right?
Yeah. I think I can... Yeah, there it is. There, I got it. Hey, looky there, Marshal. It's a money bag. And I found it, didn't I?
Yes, sir. That's right, Verd.
Here, look at that. It's real money, all right. Marshal, I found it, so I get the reward, won't I? 'Cause I knew where it was.
Yeah, you sure did, Verd. We dug up the rest of the money and then made the hole into a grave. And we buried the dead man right there. On the way back to Dodge, I told Verd he could talk all he wanted about finding the bandit's body and the reward he'd collect for it, but that he wasn't to say a word about the money we'd recovered. He couldn't understand why, and I didn't explain it to him, but I warned him he'd never get a penny of either reward if he didn't do as I said. Back in town, I didn't let him out of my sight for the next 2 days. I figured it'd make Jermo pretty worried. And it sure did.
You know, it's mighty good to get off of that prairie just for change.
Should think it would be. You don't come to town much, do you? I never seen you around here before.
Well, I've been too broke, Chester.
Well, sir, it sure takes money to see the elephant in Dodge nowadays.
I'll be able to afford it soon enough. Ain't that right, Marshal?
Yeah, it looks that way, Verd. Yeah, you've been mighty lucky. So far.
Where'd you get that?
What do you mean, so far?
Nothing.
Evening, Marshal.
Ah, hello, Jermo.
This the fellow who found your bandit for you?
Yeah, I was just telling him how lucky he is.
Yeah. Yeah, all that reward money. $1,000, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that all you're getting, mister?
What do you mean, is that all?
Well, there was more reward than that offered.
Oh, you mean the stolen money? Oh, it's too bad about that, wasn't it, Bert?
We didn't find no stolen money.
You didn't?
Oh, but looked everywhere. There'd been some digging nearby, but there was nothing in the hole.
Where?
Well, indeed. January 2nd, 1954, William Conrad, an episode of Gunsmoke here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll have the conclusion coming up next, along with an episode of Lum-and-Abner. Thanks for tuning in. More following these messages from your favorite station. Thanks for being with us here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station. Now the conclusion of Gunsmoke and the stage holdup, January 2nd, 1954.
Well, now, what do you make of that? Just plain disappeared, huh?
Yeah. Looks that way.
Well, that's sure too bad, ain't it? But you can't have all the money in the world, mister.
I ain't got all the money in the world.
I'll see you later.
Marshal, I did like you told me. I didn't say nothing.
You did fine, Bert. Just fine. When we left the saloon a little later, I noticed Jermo standing in the darkness of the alley, waiting. I was pretty sure he'd follow us as we crossed the plaza and walk up Front Street. When we reached Kelly's stable, Verd wanted to go in and see if his horse had been fed, so we said goodnight and left him there. Chester and I walked on a little ways. Then we turned off the street. We went back, entered the stable from the rear. Inside we could hear voices, and we sneaked up from stall to stall until we were close enough to make them out.
Tell me where the money is, Bert. What did you do with it?
I told you, Jermo. The marshal's got it. We dug it up.
You're lying. Now, who turned in $2,000 to collect $1,000? You've stole it and hid it somewhere else.
No, I didn't. I tell you.
The marshal himself said there'd been some digging nearby. Now, what'd you do with it, Bert? Now, tell me before I kill you.
No. Listen a minute, Jermo. Look, when you didn't come back, I figured you got caught. And then Charlie died, and I got scared.
You always was a coward. That's why we left you in the bushes with a rifle when we stopped the stage.
No, that don't matter. But look, Jermo, don't you see, this way we're both safe, because I'll split both the rewards with you. You know I will.
You're lying, and I'm going to kill you for it.
No, now don't, Jermo.
Hold it. Come out! Jermo!
You're next, Marshal.
You should have had your shotgun, Jermo.
I should have killed you at the holdup. That was my big mistake.
No. If you'd have trusted Verd, you both could have got by with us.
He was telling me the truth?
He was. Then you'd have never been convicted on what evidence I had.
Well, I guess every man's entitled to make a few mistakes. Marshal?
Jermo? Well, you won't make any more.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman Macdonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Vic Perrin, John Daner, and Lawrence Dobkin. Parley Bear is Chester, Howard McNear is Doc, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke.
There you have it, January 2nd, 1954, Gunsmoke, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station. Let's head to Pine Ridge, Arkansas, and see what's going on in the lives of Lum-and-Abner. They're a little out of the Jot 'em Down store today. This episode originally broadcast January 2nd, 1942.
And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, today is the day of the carnival, but Lum is pretty disinterested in it. He thought that this was the day his protege, Mousie, would knock out Iron Ike and win the $1,000 offered by the carnival, but Mousie is home in bed with the Mumps. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum-and-Abner in their Jot 'em Down store, library, and bakery. Listen.
Well, ain't you even going over to the carnival for just a little while, Lum?
No, I ain't going, Abner, so just quit talking about it. If you want to run over there, go ahead. I'll watch the store.
Well, Lum, we can just close the store up and both of us go. We won't do no business here no way. Everybody in town's at the carnival.
Abner, we can't close up the store every time a little carnival comes along, so just don't even mention it again. Granny's Mumps.
Huh? What'd you say?
Nothing.
Sound like you said mumps. Is that what's wrong with you? Are you still mad about Mousie getting a mump?
Well, who wouldn't be? Cheated me right out of getting the manager's share of that $1,000 Mousie would have won by knocking out Iron Ike.
Yeah, Lum, but that...
And it ruined my box promoting career before it even got started.
Well, Mousie never got the mumps on purpose, Lum.
No, I don't reckon he did, but I wouldn't be surprised if Squire Skimp never had something to do with it.
With Mousie getting the mumps? Now, that's just plain silly.
I don't know. I wouldn't put nothing past that Squire Skimp. He might have carried a mump over and give it to him. I don't know.
Oh, Lum.
I orta expected something when he come in here all smiles and friendships the other day. Orta knowed there's something funny about him coming down to $100 on Mousie's contract.
Yeah, well, it's done did now, Lum. You might just as well go over to the carnival and have a good time and forget about it.
No, I ain't going over to the dead blame.
Wait a minute. There comes Cedric. I bound you that's where he's been.
Yeah. He always gets up in the middle of the night and goes over and helps them put up the tents and drive stakes and such as that every time a circus comes to town.
Yeah. You recollect the time they told him to carry some water to the elephants and he couldn't find the water buckets? Old Cedric tried to carry the elephants over to the pump.
Oh, for goodness sake. You never actually seen Cedric do that.
Well, no, but Grandpap said a feller told him that he seen Cedric trying to lift them.
Yeah, you oughtn't to believe all that prittle-prattle Grandpap brings in here. Well, howdy, Cedric.
Yeah, hello, Cedric.
Howdy, Mr. Abner. Howdy, Mr. Lum. Boy, have I been having fun.
Well, you have, huh?
Yes, Mom. Ain't you fellers going over?
Well, I was sort of suggesting to Lum that we just close up the store.
Abner's going, but I ain't. I got too much work to do around here.
What work you got to do?
Well, I'll think of something. You ought to go, too, Mr. Lum. It's sure a lot of fun.
Kids, huh?
They got sideshows and animals and a thrill-a-minute caterpillar ride and a merry-go-round.
That's what I love.
Yes, Mom, me, too. And you can win blankets and Cupid dolls and... Look what I got here.
Huh? Well, a whistle.
Yes, Mom, but it's a special kind of whistle. Imitates birds.
It does.
Yes, see, you blow on this end, and it's a meadowlark.
Well, I do know.
And then you blow on the other end, and you get the whippoorwill.
That sounds just like the meadowlark, Cedric.
Yes, Mom, it does, don't it?
It sure does.
I asked the feller about that, but he said it just sounded that way to humans.
Well?
Said the meadowlarks and the whippoorwills could tell the difference all right.
Aw, who told you that, Cedric?
The feller I bought the cookies from.
Cookies?
Yeah, the whistle will come as a prize in this here little box of cookies.
Oh!
Here, you want to eat some of them?
Well, I don't mind if I do. You want some, Lum?
No, I ain't interested in no cookies. Go on, help yourself, Mr. Lum. You fellers can have them all if you want them. They ain't no good. I never eat them myself, hardly.
You don't? Well, what did you get them for then, Cedric?
On account of the surprise, of course.
Oh.
Just cost 25 cents, and look what I got.
Well...
Meadowlark.
Is that all it cost, just 25 cents?
What do you mean, is that all it costs? And look at that thing. Whistle and cookies together ain't worth over 9 cents, abound you. You oughtn't to be buying stuff like that, Cedric. You ought to save your money. Why not? Everybody else is buying them. And they're getting terrible, wonderful prizes, too, boy.
Reckon they got any more left over there, Cedric?
Now, wait, Abner. You ain't going over and squander your money on a silly thing like that.
Huh?
Grannies, I just can't understand how folks will spend all their money when they think they'll get a surprise of some kind. Wait a minute, though.
What's the matter, Lum?
Be quiet, I'm studying.
Oh, I wondered why you had your eyes squinted up that way.
Well, you can always tell I'm studying when I squint my eyes.
Yeah. What you studying about?
It's the way that feller's running for the legislator.
Yeah.
He done that.
Yeah, he looks just like you're looking right now, Lum.
I think we got something here, Abner.
Huh?
This thing here, that whistle, give me an idea. You recollect that idea me and Squire had for putting money in some of the loaves of bread we baked?
Oh, yeah, but Squire wanted to run that unhonest, old Lum.
Well, Squire ain't going to be in on this. We'll run it ourselves.
We will?
Why, sure, we don't need him to tell us what to do.
Good for us.
Grannies, I know it'll work, too.
Yeah.
If all them people over there will fall all over themselves buying boxes of cookies for a quarter to get little trinkets that ain't worth the money they paid, they ought to go crazy over bread with real actual money prizes in it.
Oh, yeah, law me, they'll just go wild about that.
Whippoorwill.
I bound you we won't be able to bake up enough bread to keep 'em in it, you know.
Meadowlark.
When we gonna start, Lum?
Right away. Right while everybody's in the spirit of buying prizes and stuff.
Yeah, that's the time.
I'll start mixing the dough for the bread, and you can get a fire going in the stove right now.
I doggy, this is gonna be fun. You know, Cedric, would you get some wood for me?
No, there's already some wood in the stove. Never mind, Cedric.
Uh-huh.
Just take some paper and get it lit there, Abner.
Yeah, let's see. Where's some old newspaper now?
Oh, here, use this.
Huh? Yeah, give it here. Well, wait a minute. This is your manager's contract with Mousie, Lum.
Oh, I know it. Well, it ain't no good no way. I wish I'd never seen the dad blame thing. Go ahead and use it.
Well, all right. Seems a shame to burn up something you paid $100 for, though.
Meadowlark.
Stop blowing that thing, Cedric. It gets on my nerve.
Whippoorwill. Or wait a minute. It's supposed to be the meadowlark.
Huh?
Well, go on. Do you know where I could find me a live meadowlark?
Live meadowlark?
Yes, Mom. I'd like to just have him listen to it and see if he could tell a difference in him whistle.
Oh, of course he couldn't.
Where's the east, Abner?
Huh?
Whereabouts is the east?
Oh. You see, I seen it around here someplace, Lum.
Never mind. I found it. Here it is.
Oh, yeah, that's where I knowed it was at. You want me to help you mix up a dough, Lum?
Whippoorwill.
Cedric, are you gonna stop blowing that dad blame thing?
Wished I was a whippoorwill so's I could tell the difference in these bird calls. They're getting to sound more alike all the time to me. Just listen now. Meadowlark. Whippoorwill.
Cedric, why don't you go on back over to the carnival? What'd you come over here in the first place for?
Let's see. What did I come over here for?
Well, you ought to go back over there where you can enjoy yourself, Cedric.
Well, I come over here for something. Maybe I better go back over there and study.
Huh?
See if I can figure out what I come over here for. Oh, I know now. Recollect, yeah. I come over to tell Mr. Lum something about Mousie.
About Mousy?
Did you say Mousie? Yes, Mom, but I don't recollect now what it was.
For the land's sake,
Oh, I know.
Cedric.
He said on account of some contract, said he had to fight Iron Ike or get thrown in jail, and that'd be a disgrace to Miss Gussie, he said. Well, he don't need to feel that way. No contract can make a feller fight when he's got the mumps.
Course not.
Besides, the contract's burned up anyway. Well, I reckon he never knowed that, though, 'cause he got out of bed and went over and fought Iron Ike anyway. Fought him. Oh, my goodness. Abner, get that...
No, too late, Lum. It's done burned to a crisp.
Oh, my goodness. There goes my manager's share of that $1,000, for goodness sake.
Well, now, wait a minute, Lum. You don't have to have a contract to be a feller's manager. That was just Squire Skimside, weren't it?
Granny's, maybe you're right, Abner.
Why, sure. Besides, nobody but us knows it's burned up no way.
Why, sure. Cedric, have you got your car here? Why don't you just call up over there? They got a phone hooked up out there.
They have?
Yes, Mom. I seen them talking on it.
Well, that's a thing to
Let
do.
me get to that telephone.
Yeah, that's a time, Lum.
Cedric, don't you say nothing to Squire about us burning that contract. No, Mom, I won't. Hello, Mamie? Would you hook me up to the carnival? Connect me up with them, please? Right away, please.
That dogged old Mousy sure got a nerve, you know it. Getting out of a sick bed to go over and fight a fella.
Hello, is this the carnival? Well, this is lum-and-abner, Mousie's manager. Mousie. Mousie Gray, the fella that just fought Iron Ike.
Dynamite killer, I think they called it.
Yeah, well, of course I'm sure I'm his manager. $10 what? Entry fee. What for? Oh, well, sure I'll pay that. Just send the bill over to lum-and-abner. Yeah. All right. Goodbye. Granny, that ought to prove I'm Mousie's manager anyway, paying that entry fee for him.
You mean you're going to pay $10 more, Lum? You already put out $100 for the contract.
Well, don't worry about that. My share of the winnings will cover that.
Well, huh?
How long did it take to knock him out, Cedric? Just one blow done it. Granny, just one blow. Did you hear that, Abner?
Yeah.
It's just one blow, and there was Mousie out cold as an icicle.
Mousie?
Yes, Mom. Meadowlark. Whippoorwill. Meadowlark.
Well, Lum certainly has plenty of reason to be upset, hasn't he?
That's not good. January 2nd, 1942, Lum-and-Abner on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Hello, everyone. This is Robert Merrill. In the American Cancer Society's vast effort to control cancer, there is one aspect that interests me particularly. This is the fellowship program for outstanding young doctors. Here are men who have devoted years to preparing themselves for their profession, college, medical school, interning, and perhaps more time as resident physicians. Many promising careers are open to them at this point, careers which will support their families comfortably. Yet, they accept American Cancer Society fellowships at $50 a week. Now, these dedicated young scientists are working for us. We owe it to ourselves to help them in this tremendous fight against man's cruelest enemy. We can and we must help this fellowship program as well as the other valuable endeavors of the American Cancer Society. Give generously. Mail your contribution today to Cancer, care of your local post office.
This is Debbie Reynolds. If you've been wondering what you can do to fight communism personally from your own home, there is something you can do. Support Radio Free Europe, the station built and financed by the contributions of the American public to the crusade for freedom. Radio Free Europe is one Cold War operation the communists fear and attack constantly. Support Radio Free Europe. Send your truth dollars to Crusade for Freedom, care of your local postmaster.
Thank you so much for tuning in here to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station. visit my webpage. It's at classicradio.stream. Now, at classicradio.stream, you can stream our shows on demand. If you miss a day on this station, you don't have to miss a single show. You can also learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me there. You can find all of our social media links on the Twitter machine and on Facebook. And if you'd like to help this program, acquire additional classic radio collections to bring to you, if you'd like to help us maintain our distribution channels, real easy, you can buy me a coffee. That buy me a coffee money goes straight to those, because I don't drink coffee. I mean, I don't drink coffee. That is at classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. Also, please, we ask you to thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite radio station. I'm Wyatt Cox. Please tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.